What is up, beautiful people internet? I'm Wesley.
I'm Stephanie.
This is Wes and
Steph.
And today, guys, we're reacting to BTS Spring Day music video Explain. When we reacted to this one, we really enjoyed it, but we were really confused what was happening.
You guys told us we had to go watch this video, and you said it's very intense.
We very rarely get a warning like that before we watch, so we're a bit apprehensive, and even the tagline after the initial title in this video says, Shoutout Fairy and Snowpiercer and Survivors. I don't know what the first two are, but the third, Survivors, sounds very intense, and I always appreciate good alliteration. So I guess let's just get into it and check this out, yeah?
Let's go.
Theory 1. This music video is a tribute to the Shoutout Fairy tragedy. The boys represent all the survivors of the tragedy.
So there's multiple theories, though.
This was the scene that bothered me the most in the music video.
We did not like this one. Oh, they just have the piano version.
Here he is feeling survivor's guilt. The guilt of having survived while his friends have passed. Oh, many people have lost their loved ones, often feel like committing suicide themselves so they can be... Oh.
That's awful.
I can see... That would be really hard to deal with, though. Oh, that's a quote. That's a real quote.
She feels guilty about surviving. I came out of this alive, but my friends didn't.
I don't know how you would even deal with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine.
JK is also a survivor thinking about his lost friends. Jimin even goes back to the sea to reminisce. Ugh. I didn't expect this to be so brutal.
Oh, all the abandoned suitcases and clothes. Represent all the students who went on their field trip with all their belongings but never came back. It was just a field trip?
It is widely known the Korean government has been heavily criticized by the way they handled the tragedy. The media didn't report the full truth. The families kept in the dark about what happened.
Oh, that's awful. Not even telling the families?
Neither of us knows what the Shoutout Fairy tragedy is, right?
The captain told the students to stay in their spot instead of evacuating.
Most of the students drowned while the captain and many crew members What?
So they left and they're like, nah, students stay here. Because
they told them to stay there. They told them, what? And there's a Spring Day rap mom mentioned Snowpiercer. The movie takes place entirely on a train. The movie symbolizes human society where the people in the front of the train treat the tail of the train, regular people, in an inhumane way, which would mirror the situation in the Shoutout tragedy.
Titanic, like a lot of similarities, you know? Like a boat sinking. You want me to explain more? A boat sinking in the water, the lower classes. You never saw that movie.
I never saw the movie. That's why I wanted to. You never saw that
movie. So the lower classes were trapped below, and while the upper classes were able to get onto the boats and escape. So in a way, that's very similar.
Maybe we should look up the Shoutout we should cut and look up the Shoutout tragedy and then come back so we can understand the context more.
Okay.
So we just read the Wikipedia article for the Shoutout Fairy, and that's horrible.
Yeah, so over 300 people out of 400 something
passed away. 250
drowned.
High school students, all from the same high school.
And the crew, I guess, escaped. They were charged for murder.
Yeah.
The owner wasn't found, or he ran away even there was a arrest warrant for him.
And he was found dead in a field.
And then the government said everybody had been rescued.
That's so crazy to me.
How are they?
This is insane. This was, and it was in 2014. It sounded, when we were reading it, it felt like I was reading something from like the 40s.
Yeah.
Didn't it a little
bit?
Like it was so crazy. I definitely get why like that would cause such a huge movement and why it would be so important to BTS, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's keep going, yeah? I definitely see the similarities to Titanic you were mentioning.
You belong to the tail.
Oh, this is the
Snowpiercer.
Oh, that's scary.
Oh,
they always follow orders.
Yeah.
The students stayed on the ferry.
And people are expected, that's like one of the things that especially in the first album BTS talked a lot about was that the societal expectations for young people, they don't have their own dreams. They just do what they're told, right?
Yeah, and I wonder if more of the kids passed away because they were the ones following orders more than maybe the adults. So I don't have this is a very minor comparison, but I was at summer camp one time, and this is in California. California doesn't get a ton of thunderstorms. And my sister and I and the rest of my campers, I was a counselor, were out on the lake in canoes when a huge thunderstorm happened, and there was lightning everywhere. And I was like, guys, we have to get off the lake. You should not be out here in the middle of a thunderstorm. That's like, coming from the Midwest, that's like lesson 101, right? And so, but the other people, they weren't used to them. And they're like, no, it's fine, stay out there. And I was like, no, it's not okay. And they're like, you need to do what we say, stay out there. And I'm like, I'm not going to, screw you.
But it's when you don't, I don't know, at least for me, when I don't feel safe, definitely feel that I look to people in authority.
You do. You look to the people in authority to tell you what to do.
Because you don't know what to do. So you think that they should, right?
Yeah, I was a counselor, and these are like the head people that are telling me to stay out there and keep all my campers out there. I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, we're going to go back because that's a safe thing to do. And it's just weird because I had never been in a situation before where I had to supersede the adults telling me what to do, right?
Because you were an adult, but you don't feel like, even at 30, I don't really feel 18. Like an adult. Yeah.
I was 18 in charge of like 16-year-olds, right? So it wasn't like, yeah. So anyway, that's the closest I can come to that. And even then, it's like, I know this isn't safe. But they're telling me it is.
And they should know more than I do, so I should listen. That's the instinct.
Yeah, it is instinctual. So I can only imagine there where it's even more of a cultural
And it's way more of a scary situation.
Yeah.
And a way more immediate threat, which I feel like makes people look to authority even more.
It's like being on an airplane and they're like, oh no, stay in your seat.
Yeah.
You know, same thing.
One guy finally decides to revolt. Oh, so Arm's going to the front of the train?
And they show up at a hotel.
It's from the books The One Who Walk Away from Omelas.
Oh.
There are so many references.
Wow.
I cannot keep track of this.
The Ones Who Walk Away is a story of a utopian society whose survival and happiness depends on the suffering of a child.
Someone's happiness and prosperity means someone else's suffering. So you ignore the suffering.
Dang,
bliss.
There are a lot of references. No vacancies.
Ugh. Arm represents someone walking forward to confront injustice.
He's like, come follow me, we're going to the front. Oh, and
they're having fun and partying. They have
chaos.
Boom Chicka Wow, Boom Chicka Pow popcorn. The main character reaches the middle of the train. He's attacked by people. Whoa, in the middle. Oh. That's interesting. He's not even to the front of the train.
Did not let the rebels
But the people in the middle of the train are like, oh, we have it better than the people at the back. We're not going to let you through to get to the front to change things.
Because
we're still doing well.
Dang.
Yeah. Although it looks like a fun scene, it's actually not. I thought it was a party. Even now, I thought it was a party with context, right? I thought it was like, oh, he gets to the middle of the train and everyone there's just having a blast.
Except they're throwing a cake at him.
But that, I don't know.
That's like their kind of weapon.
Yeah.
Right? That's crazy.
He's trying to confront injustice, but people are bringing him down, literally throwing things at him. I still think it's interesting. It's not even the people at the top that are bringing him down. It's the people at the middle.
Yeah, Jen represents the ones who have passed away. He looks up at all the others who are climbing up, growing up, while he is stuck at the bottom. Oh, that's awful.
That's so terrible.
Oh.
Like a ghost, kind of. The idea of a ghost seeing... He can't move on, and he's seeing his classmates continuing to go about their lives.
Represents the loss of childhood.
We got that symbol. That was about the only symbol that I think we actually got accurately in it, except we thought it was time travel. Right?
Yeah, the next few scenes are basically the survivors of the tragedy going about with their regular lives, having fun with friends, doing usual grown-up stuff, etc. Sorry if you guys can read it too.
I don't know. That looked like the people from the middle train car. To me, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, a darker interpretation could be that RM gets to the middle train, and then he figures out that the life is better there, and then he's satisfied.
No.
Ooh, and doesn't continue moving forward. Because that would be a trap that would probably be really easy to fall into, right? If you're trying to confront injustice in a society and you improve your position enough that you yourself are comfortable, then it's hard to still maintain your drive to help all the people on the lower train.
That's even darker, Wesley.
I think that's...
Yeah, they still...
Oh, V on the track gets me all the time.
Jim picks up the shoes of the survivor washed up on the shore. Ugh.
The upcoming laundry room scene is very meaningful and important.
I remember this one.
The colors in this scene in particular were so striking to me. It was almost haunting.
Oh!
So is Jen still a ghost? Fighting back tears, an 18-year-old boy who spoke for the survivor says, "Grown-ups are constantly telling us to forget and cheer up, but we will remember and recollect our friends. Because not forgetting them is what we can do at best. Just as we will remember them, please don't forget them."
That's awful. But I think
That's
that's
terrible.
the worst part. Whenever anybody passes away, people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to bring up grief. But it's so much better to not forget, to still talk about them, to talk and remember and love them. And, you know, they're just in the other room. And remember them that way because that's how they would want to be remembered.
Dude, it's brutal. If that's something that they're actually saying is to just cheer up, forget and cheer up, that's so brutal.
I know.
Like, I get why someone would say that, trying to be helpful.
Oh, all of them say don't forget. Don't forget.
The mountain pile of clothes represents the victims. Oh, it's an art installation? An artist named Christian Boltanansky held an art installation. There are just references upon references upon references.
40-foot tall mountain pile of clothing. Each piece of clothing was deposited on top of the mountain pile,
symbolically carrying the souls of those who inhabited the clothes to a higher place. This might have been the inspiration for the clothes pile.
Dang. That was before this even happened.
Yeah. As life moves on, the boys realize it's their duty to seek justice. The yellow ribbons behind are similar to Sewol Ferry Yellow Ribbon Campaign. Whoa. I'm curious how much a viewer that is Korean would pick up on these references.
Yeah.
As opposed to, obviously, like, an international audience. I think I remember possibly hearing a news story about the Sewol Ferry in the U.S.
I think I did, too.
I think I heard a story, but it was just that. It was just, like, one day of coverage, right?
Yeah.
Compared to in Korea, where it sounds like it was huge, huge event. I'm curious if someone that is Korean and is familiar with a lot of these things.
How much did you see?
Would you guys catch these references if you are Korean when you're watching the video?
Yeah.
Because for us, like, there's no way, if you're an American audience member who's not incredibly steeped in Korean culture,
that you would notice.
No way, right?
I wonder also, I mean, I'm guessing that the ferry went down on a spring day. So they're like, there's just another spring day.
Oh.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
So here, JK finally wakes up and follows RM's path to seek justice. Whoa!
He was just sitting on the train.
Yeah, he was sitting on the train.
I never even realized this in the music video, that he was following him too.
That he was retracing his steps.
He thinks he has done this fight alone, but you never walk alone.
Liverpool. And that's him again. Even if justice is achieved or not achieved, what's done is done. The dead will not come back to life.
It was such a beautiful song.
The piano version is particularly beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
However, as long as we remember the ones who have died, they will live in our memories. Here, JK striking match reminiscent of the scene in Little Match.
Oh, they like that one.
No.
They reference it a lot.
They reference Little Match Girl a few times.
That's how we talked on When I Cried.
Where every time she lights up a match, she sees her loved ones who have passed away. In the previous scene, he was alone, but after striking a match, he has everyone around him. You guys didn't exaggerate. This is...
Wait. Little Magical Girl gets me every time.
It's meaningful and beautiful, but it's also very hard.
How are they not crying as they film?
Maybe they were. No, I never noticed the clothes pile outside the train. The dead is outside of the world being the train. It is a gloomy sight.
Ugh.
So then, do you think that the art installation is the world of the dead?
I don't know.
Oh. In the Snowpiercer movie, the humans are stuck living inside the train because the world outside is completely frozen. It represents how many of us are stuck inside a society or government that is oppressive with no way out.
Oh, and it is snowing outside, so that makes sense. So that's the analogy.
That's a pretty direct reference with the snow, isn't it?
Yeah.
However, one of the characters suspects that there is the possibility of life outside the train. There is a way out of the oppressive system.
Ooh. This sounds like a good-ass movie.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. How did he know? Was he from outside originally?
Snowflakes are falling.
That guy has soulful eyes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He saw a snowflake enter the train for the first time in many, many years. Snowflakes would not be able to form if the temperature is sub-zero, so he realized that somewhere outside the Earth is slowly warming up again. There is hope for survival outside.
Wow.
But if you were at the front of the train, you wouldn't want people to leave it.
No.
Because you are comfortable in your position and your life's good. And chaos could represent a challenge to your position. Whoa!
Oh,
they left the
outside.
train! Here Jimin steps out of the train, out of the oppressive system that is society and government that had tried to downplay the tragedy. He invites us with him.
And everything's melting and thawing.
Yeah, the survivors feel free and liberated. Melting, it's not melted, it's like tundra, right?
Yeah.
So it's not melted, it's tundra. Oh, the tree represents hope, a new life, a spring day. That makes me happy because we interpreted the tree as a tragic symbol of death or suicide when
That's a
we
symbol
watched
of
it
hope.
initially. Remember?
Yeah.
I thought they were like returning to the site of their friend's death or something like that.
So it's the shoes.
The shoes of the survivors that washed ashore. I think this shot has some of my favorite
I told
cinematography.
You they hang up shoes places. I didn't know it was to commemorate the dead, though.
So I think one of the reasons that we were so confused is in the U.S. There's two things I associate with strings hanging. The first is that you're taught when you're a kid that if there's hanging on a telephone wire in the U.S. There's shoes hanging, that's where a drug dealer is. I have no idea if that's still true. That's probably something that was true in like the 70s that our parents taught us.
That's what I was taught. And then also they throw them off on ski lifts.
Oh, yeah. And then the other association that I have is that prisoners will use their shoestrings if they can get them to hang themselves.
Oh.
That's why, like, if you see in prison movies and stuff like that, the shoes are slip-ons. They don't have shoelaces.
I didn't know that.
So
sheesh.
those are the two things. Like in a lot of old U.S. media, like back in the day, set in the 20s and stuff, prisoners hang themselves with their shoelaces.
Well, that's also dark and depressing.
That's what I thought the symbol was. Because V laid his head down on the track initially.
This makes a lot more sense.
Just so we cannot forget them, we ask that the citizens of this country also never forget them.
That'd be so traumatic.
And you're right, the title...
I don't like boats.
The title makes so much more spring day, right? Because for everybody else, it was just a normal spring day. Even for the people, it was a normal spring day until the tragedy.
I get why you guys wanted us to watch it. There was so
much in there.
Packed into that one music video. And I'm sure, I feel like BTS is kind of representative of K-pop and Korean music culture, right? And in a way, Korea
to the U.S.
to a lot of the
I'd say.
world,
Yeah.
right? Like I feel like they're one of the main representatives to U.S.
Or
probably
like the
to
gateway,
other
maybe.
countries,
Like the gateway or the window through which people...
the lens, right?
Yeah.
And so them making this video, I'm sure took a certain amount of courage because the government tried to cover it up already. I'm sure the government wouldn't be too pleased with them for making a video that undermines them.
And especially with such a huge international and domestic audience.
Yeah.
For different reasons, domestic and international, right? And like brings more attention to the tragedy and the cover-up. And it sounds like this was a major issue that really, really put a lot of pressure on the government in Korea.
Yeah. It kind of seems to me that this song is a memorial and a tribute to them in a way, and also another way to never forget, because every time this song is played, it's a reminder to everybody who knows the meaning.
And it's sort of like, I don't think it's a specific call to action because it's not saying like, hey, do this specifically. But I feel like it's kind of a broader philosophical call to action.
Yeah.
Like, don't let things stay the way they are. Don't forget these tragedies and the reasons that they happened and the things that were done, right?
Yeah.
And remember them as you go about your life so that they can inform the decisions you make. And I think it's really beautiful. I'm always surprised how much social commentary there is in their music. Because again, that's probably the thing that I think that we miss out on the most with it being in English.
Korean, yeah.
Is either the social or the personal commentary.
Yeah.
Because
there's so much. So.
I think we usually get most of the emotions on probably 8 out of 10 songs. We had correctly identified the emotion and the tone.
But not this one. We were so far off.
We were off. I think that we were right that it was like tragic.
Yeah.
But that's very, very vague, right?
Yeah. So, we got there eventually when we read this. So thank you guys for the
sharing.
suggestion.
And we just wanted to give a shout out to Bulletproof Vibes who made this video. And this is actually the only video they have up on their channel. And it's absolutely amazing. It has 1.5 million views for a good reason. So we just wanted to shout them out because it was such a well-made video. And thank you guys again for suggesting that we react to it. I'm thankful that we understood, at least this is one of the theories, right? And it's open to interpretation, but it seems as if there's so many references that it can't at least not be part of the meaning.
I wonder if there's even more that they didn't get. I'm sure there's a couple other things in there.
Yeah, who knows, right? And just thank you guys so much for the suggestion. I don't know. I don't always enjoy these reactions, but I appreciate them. Yeah.
There's a time to mourn, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to recognize the sadness in the world.
I would prefer to know that what the meaning of what we're reacting to is at a greater depth to appreciate it rather than continuing inaccurately, even though
living in ignorance.
Yeah, the process of truth isn't always pleasant. So I don't know that I'm glad that we reacted to this. If I'm sure it was not fun in that way for you guys too. So hang in there. Watch a happy reaction or something now.
Cheer yourself up.
Don't
forget.
Don't
that's
forget.
What the song's about, right?
But we love you guys. Thank you for all your support and your amazing suggestions. I think we're definitely going to watch more theory videos and explanation videos.
Yeah, there's got to be so much more
I'm
that
so
we're
excited.
missing.
And I'll give you a hint. That's one of the projects that we're working on. But we love you guys, and we'll see you next time. So,
Bye.
bye.